Good morning. My name is Paul. Today I will be reading the New Bedford Standard Times for today, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. In the weather, today hot and breezy in the afternoon, a high of 96, a low of 62. Thursday, partly sunny, hot and less humid, a high of 90 and a low of 62. Friday, partly sunny, 87 degrees for the high and 60 for the low. Saturday, a shower and a thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high of 81, a low of 68, and Sunday, clouds and sun, a high of 61 and a low of 67. In the news, it's illegal to sleep overnight on the area's public beaches. This is by Faith Harrington, the Standard Times, USA Today Network. Summer means one thing: beach days, long days in the sun, lying in the sand, and spending hours in the waves. While it may be tempting to fall asleep on the beach after a long day in the sun, sleeping overnight at most public beaches in Massachusetts is not allowed. Even though the idea of falling asleep to the sound of the ocean and waking up to the sunrise sounds peaceful, doing so without the proper permits could lead to fines, tickets, or being removed by the local police. Beyond the legal issues, sleeping on the beach may not be as relaxing as it sounds. Coastal temperatures can drop significantly overnight. Sand fleas and bugs can become a nuisance, and changing tides or weather conditions can create unexpected safety risks. While technically there is not one statewide law that specifically says sleeping on the beach is illegal, most public beaches prohibit overnight sleeping or camping through state regulations and local bylaws. According to the Massachusetts regulations, under 302 CMR 112.03, state beaches managed by the Department of Conservation and Recreation, DCR, are generally only open to the public for 30 minutes before sunrise until 30 minutes after sunset. In New Bedford, sleeping overnight at the city's public beaches is prohibited. Fort Tabor is closed from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m., while East Beach and West Beach are closed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Anyone found sleeping, camping, or lingering in these areas during overnight hours could face fines, citations, or removal by law enforcement. Local bylaws in Dartmouth also prohibit overnight sleeping or use of public beaches between dusk and dawn. Round Hill Beach, Jones Park, and Apponeganset Park do not allow falling asleep or camping directly on the sand, which violates town park ordinances and may result in fines or immediate removal. Sleeping or camping overnight on town-owned beaches in Westport is also prohibited. Cherry and Webb Beach, Cobble Beach, and East Beach close at dusk, and anyone remaining on the beach overnight may be cited for trespassing. Fairhaven beaches are open from sunrise to sunset and do not allow overnight sleeping, camping, or lingering after hours. Those found on Pope Beach, Fort Phoenix, or West Island Town Beach overnight may face citations or fines. Horseneck State Reservation in Westport is the only local state-owned beach campground in the area where overnight stays are allowed. Open from April through the end of November, the campground features 100 campsites nestled behind the sand dunes with views of Buzzards Bay and direct beach access. Campsites cost $24 per night for Massachusetts residents and $70 per night for non-residents. Reservations are required and can be made through the Massachusetts DCR camping reservation system at https://www.mass.gov/locations/Horseneck Beach State Reservation. DOJ is sending monitors to local primary. This is by Frank Mulligan, the Standard Times USA Today Network. Election monitors are being sent to New Bedford for the September 1st state primary due to problems with the integrity of elections, according to U.S. Department of Justice official who did not provide any specific instances of election irregularities. Assistant Attorney General for the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, said in a July 8th post on X that New Bedford was one of 15 jurisdictions in 6 states that were getting election monitors. She said they were being sent to places where there have been problems with the integrity of elections. For example, where poll workers made mistakes in giving people access, or didn't let people come in, or they used the wrong poll book, or they didn't have the correct ballots for that jurisdiction, so people were denied the right to vote. Dillon did not get into specific instances of problems for any of the jurisdictions, including New Bedford. Assistant Attorney General for the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, said in a July 8th post on X that New Bedford was one of 15 jurisdictions in 6 states that were getting election monitors. There were complaints made during the March 5th Super Tuesday presidential primary election in New Bedford in 2024. An investigation found the problems to be minor and that they had no effect on results. At the time, complaints included a lack of Republican ballots at one precinct for a brief period, which delayed 9 voters, including 1 Democrat, from casting their ballots. All were later able to vote. Voting in the Republican primary March 5th at Vibra Hospital polling location was affected when Republican primary ballots were not available for what was described as a brief period in the morning. The Board of Elections Commissioners investigated the impact on Ward 1D voters and found that 8 Republican voters were affected. All 8 voters returned to cast their ballots before the polls closed that night, city officials said. A Democrat was also unable to vote at the same polling location because the machine didn't have power at the beginning of the day, according to city officials, but was also able to return and vote before the polls closed. There was also an electrical problem with one voting machine at Care 1, Ward 1, Precinct B, city officials said. There was no disruption in voting when staff followed the standard protocol, which ballots continue to be removed and placed in a secure tray, according to city officials. A subsequent investigation led to some corrective measures. The city implemented a range of reforms, according to a press release, which cost $163,000. Number 1, changing the allocation of political party ballots at polling locations and establishing a protocol to inspect recount ballots before distribution to the precincts. 2, maintain at least 3 runners or poll workers responsible for supply trips back and forth from City Hall per election. 3, establish a procedure in which poll workers would automatically call for a resupply of ballots when the number on hand reaches a certain level. For the investigation, Assistant City Solicitor Ryan A. Paveo interviewed Election Commission Chair Manuel DeBrito Jr., 24 precinct wardens, and 1 Republican voter who had to come back to vote because of a lack of ballots. Paveo concluded there were several errors during the primary election, but none of the errors were intentional, substantive, or had any effect on even a single vote being able to be cast successfully during the election. He added in the investigation report 2 voters were affected by a 1-hour lack of Republican ballots at the Christian Fellowship Center, Precinct IF. However, both voters similarly returned later in the day and were able to successfully cast their ballots. Other minor malfunctions, e.g. jamming of voting machines at other precincts, had no effect on voting whatsoever, and the allegation that Care 1 Senior Center's Precinct 1B polling location lacked Republican ballots was completely unfounded. The most common complaint to come out of that election was from registered Democrats who were unable to vote Republican, according to Paveo's investigation. State law doesn't allow primary voters registered with a party to choose more than 1 ballot. While all registered voters can participate in the primary, if you're registered in one party, you can't vote in another party's primary, according to the Secretary of State's office. Unenrolled voters can vote in the party primary of their choice. Voters who want to change their party to vote in a different party's primary have to update their voter registration at least 10 days before the primary. A Republican 1F Christian Fellowship Center, 2 registered Democrats were asked for Republican ballots and were upset when told that wasn't allowed by state law. At Precinct 2B, Alma de Mar Charter School, 1 registered Democrat asked for a Republican ballot. At Precinct 2E, Wilkes Library, 3 to 4 registered Democrats asked for Republican ballots. At Precinct A, Hayden McFadden School, 1 registered Democrat asked for a Republican ballot. At Precinct 3D, Holy Name, 1 registered applicant asked for a Republican ballot. At Precinct 6E, Ashley Park Community Center, 1 registered Democrat asked for a Republican ballot. When told that was contrary to state law, she was nice about it. The investigation also listed an issue at Precinct 2F Lincoln School, where a voter wanted to take voters' rights poster home, which was attached to the wall. The voter was told that the law required the sign to remain in place, but a copy could be found online, according to the investigation. The Civil Rights Division uses Justice Department personnel to monitor polling places on Election Day to help assess compliance with the federal voting rights laws around the country, including Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the Help America Vote Act, according to the DOJ website. The division may assist 1 or more attorneys and staff members to monitor the election in the field on Election Day and maintain contact with state and local officials, according to the DOJ. Dillon said states where monitors are being sent, in addition to Massachusetts, are Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Virginia. During a video post on X, July 7th. Monitors are also being sent to Boston. She stated in the July 7th post that monitors are going into cities and counties where there have been some problems in recent elections. She said it was something that the DOJ does routinely, adding that election monitors were sent to 9 jurisdictions in 2022 and 27 jurisdictions in 2024 under the Biden administration. The city was notified that election monitors are being sent in a July 9th DOJ communication to Election Commission Chair Manuel DeBrito from Timothy Mellott, Deputy Chief of the DOJ's voting section. As part of our assessment of your administration of the federal primary election, we plan to have election monitors at your 2026 primary election. We will contact you a week prior to the election monitoring to discuss the particulars of the monitoring effort. The letter also requests information to evaluate your compliance with the voter assistance requirements of the Voting Rights Act. Based on the 2021 census findings, an estimated 4.5% of the city's voting age Hispanic citizens are limited English proficient, and nearly 1/3 of all voting age citizens who speak Spanish are LEP, according to the communication. It states, although New Bedford is not yet covered by Section 203, it is required under Section 208 of the VRA to ensure that voters who request assistance, including LEP, elderly, illiterate, and physically disabled individuals, are allowed to receive assistance from the person of their choice. Section 203 provides that election material may be provided in the minority language in municipalities where there are more than 10,000 or over 5% of the total voting age citizens in a single political subdivision, usually a county but a township or a municipality in some states, who are members of a single language minority group, have depressed literacy rates, and who do not speak English very well. Mellott requested the following information by August 8th in the communication. Precinct lists in electronic format, a list of precincts and polling places scheduled for use in the September 1st, 2006 primary election, and maps, shape, or other digital files of city precinct boundaries, for the 2026 primary election. Voter lists in electronic format, a current list of registered voters, first and last names to be used for the 2026 primary election. Please specify what delimiter was used for the list, if any, or provide a file layout. Voting materials, poll official training, and Deborah O'Malley, Director of Communications from the Secretary of State's office, said they understood the letter to be essentially identical to those received by other states. They said they had no comment on the letter's content. Tim Ray Trio and April Hall to play New Bedford Jazz Fest. This is by Beth McDermott, Standard Times, USA Today Network. The New Bedford Jazz Fest will continue its acoustic jazz series with a performance by the Tim Ray Trio featuring April Hall from 4 to 6 p.m. July 26th at the Steeple Playhouse in downtown New Bedford. The ongoing concert series follows a successful launch and is designed to showcase local live acoustic jazz in an informal setting, allowing for conversation and audience questions, according to a community announcement. Doors are scheduled to open at 3:30 p.m., with concessions and a Jazz Fest merchandise table planned for attendees. Tim Ray, a pianist, composer, and arranger, has built a career as both a soloist and accompanist, collaborating with artists across multiple genres. Ray performed as Tony Bennett's pianist and musical director until the singer's retirement from live performances in 2020, according to the announcement. Ray has contributed more than 100 recordings and and has appeared in concert alongside performers including Aretha Franklin, Lyle Lovett, Jane Siberry, and Soul Asylum. Ray also serves on the faculty of Berklee College of Music. Vocalist April Hall brings a background rooted in gospel and blues paired with jazz influences. An announcement describes Hall's voice as glorious, a characterization attributed to the Boston Globe, according to the announcement. Hall is also a faculty member at Berklee College of Music, where Hall teaches courses including voice instruction, vocal ensembles, musicianship, jazz, and R&B ensembles and musical theory for vocalists. The concert will be held at Steeple Playhouse, located at 159 William Street. Tickets are priced at $30 for adults and $25 for seniors, students, and military members. Admission is $5 through the Mass Card to Culture program. Tickets are available at https://steepleplayhouse.org. The event will take place indoors, rain or shine. The venue is accessible, and free parking is available on nearby streets, in an adjacent lot, and the Elm Street parking garage. New Bedford Jazz Fest and acoustic jazz series are supported by the Mass Cultural Council and local cultural councils in Acushnet, Dartmouth, Mattapoisett, and Westport. Female cyclist killed in Route 6 Dartmouth crash is ID'd. This is by Frank Mulligan, the Standard Times, USA Today Network. Dartmouth, the 74-year-old female cyclist killed in a collision with a dump truck on Route 6 on July 13th has been identified. The cyclist, a 74-year-old woman identified as Denise Olson of Westport, was pronounced deceased at the scene, stated Bristol County District Attorney Thomas M. Quinn III. Dartmouth and Massachusetts State Police were dispatched to the area of 832 State Road in Dartmouth, Route 6 westbound at approximately 11:54 a.m. on July 13th after receiving a 911 call, according to a press release. On arrival, the police located a dump truck pulled to the side of the roadway. Police investigation revealed a collision had occurred between the truck and a bicyclist, according to the release. The dump truck operator remained on the scene and was cooperative with police. The investigation into this matter is active and ongoing by the Massachusetts State Police Detective Unit assigned to the Bristol County District Attorney's Office, along with the Massachusetts State Police and Dartmouth Police. Hot dog creations you must try in Greater New Bedford. Summertime is all about cookouts, and while burgers usually steal the spotlight, National Hot Dog Day belongs to the Frankfurter. Celebrated on the third Wednesday in July, the holiday is dedicated to one of America's most iconic foods. The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council established National Hot Dog Day in 1991 to coincide with a hot dog lunch on Capitol Hill. Hot dogs have come a long way from the days of choosing between ketchup and mustard. Today they're piled high with creative toppings, bold flavors, and unexpected combinations, turning the humble hot dog into the perfect handheld comfort food. Here's where to find some of the most unique hot dogs and hot dog-inspired creations across Greater New Bedford. Looking to splurge? Dookie's Dogs serves a caviar dog that's all about indulgence. The all-beef hot dog is topped with creme fraiche, caviar, dill, and red and green onions, all served on a buttery brioche bun. Try this upscale creation at 636 Slocum Road in Dartmouth. The Porker. If you're a barbecue lover, head to the Poor Farm Tavern and Grill for the Porker. The grilled frank is topped with house-smoked pulled pork and house barbecue sauce. If cheese is more your style, order the cheese dog smothered in rich beer cheese. Celebrate National Hot Dog Day at 780 Purchase Street, New Bedford. The Dorito Dog. For a hot dog with a little crunch and a little kick, stop by Charlie's Hot Dog Stand. The Dorito Dog features a steamed hot dog nestled in a Dorito-crusted bun and topped with melted nacho cheese and jalapenos. Grab one at 1648 Acushnet Avenue in New Bedford. Chili Dog Cheese Fries. Sixes and Sevens puts a fun spin on the classic hot dog with Chili Dog Cheese Fries. Crispy seasoned shoestring fries are loaded with beef and bean cheese, cheddar cheese sauce, diced white onions, fried jalapenos, and sliced hot dogs for a forkful of comfort food. Find it at 7 South 6th Street, 7 New Bedford. Mac and Cheese Dog. For a handheld twist on comfort food, order the mac and cheese dog at D's Hot Dogs. Their signature dog is topped with ooey gooey mac and cheese, and adding bacon takes it to the next level. Stop by at 51 Tarkiln Hill Road, New Bedford. New England Dog. Kaya's Corner puts a New England spin on the classic with the New England Dog, topped with sweet baked beans and crispy bacon. It's a regional favorite worth trying. Visit 85 Osborne Street, New Bedford. The Big Dill Dog. Pickle lovers won't want to miss the Big Dill Dog at Boomdog NB. This flavor-packed creation is topped with pickles, banana peppers, ranch dressing, and crispy onions for the perfect balance of tangy and crunchy. Find it at 79 North Water Street, New Bedford. Haitian Spaghetti. For something completely different, stop by G's Kitchen for a taste of Haitian spaghetti. This beloved comfort food combines spaghetti and sliced hot dogs tossed in a rich, seasoned tomato sauce with sautéed vegetables. It might just become your new favorite. Visit 812 Brock Avenue, New Bedford. In the obituaries, Humberto M. Lopes, age 81, passed on June 12th, and the arrangements are that at the Boulevard home. Service time is July 17th at 10 a.m. on service. The service location is Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception Church, and the interment will be at Pine Grove Cemetery. Iran strikes back after wave of U.S. attacks. This is by Christopher Cann, USA Today Network. U.S. Central Command and it said the United States bombed military targets along the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and the Gulf of Oman on July 14th as President Donald Trump threatened to escalate attacks on Iran. Iranian state media reported that its country's military responded by attacking U.S. targets in Bahrain. USA Today reached out to the Pentagon for the confirmation of the attacks. We're going to hit them very hard tonight, and we're going to hit them hard tomorrow, and there's not a damn thing they can do about it, Trump told the talk show host Hugh Hewitt in the evening of July 13th. Escalating hostilities came as peace efforts between the two sides appeared to fall apart over each vying for control of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump promised on July 13th that the United States would become the guardian of the critical channel Iran claims as its own. He also said he would reinstate the naval blockade on Iran. This was set to take effect 3 p.m. Eastern Time, July 14th, the U.S. Navy-led Joint Maritime Information Center said. Under a memorandum of understanding signed in June, the United States lifted its blockade, and Washington expected Tehran to allow for free passage of all commercial shipping in the strait. But Iran said the agreement allowed it to remain in control of the waterway and warned vessels not to sail without its authorization. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi wrote on X that Tehran was the guardian of the strait and would remain so forever. After several ships traveled along a route near the coast of Oman, guided and protected by the U.S. military rather than a route authorized by Iran, Iran began attacking commercial vessels. Those attacks continued overnight, where Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it had fired on 2 tankers after they attempted to transit through Omani waters. Before the war, about 20% of the world's oil and natural gas flowed through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has used that point of leverage ever since. Shipping data on July 13th showed the number of tankers transiting the strait had fallen to the lowest level in 2 months. The following day, oil prices surged 5%, hitting $87.49 per barrel. That's the highest in about a month, but still well below the peak since the war began. I doubt the two sides will resume a full war, especially as Trump will suffer, though there is also a distinct possibility that Iranians will overplay their hand, said Yazid Sayi, a senior fellow at the Carnegie Middle East Center. U.S. military involvement in Yemen remains unpopular with Americans. Only 37% approved, and about half believe the war has been worth the costs. This has been the New Bedford Standard Times for today, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. My name is Paul. Thanks for listening.